Hey everybody, welcome to our re-release of Tuesday Talks with Ashley Hanna and Angelo Datseris, talking to you about all the latest in the real estate industry. Coming to you from Charlotte, North Carolina, I'm Ashley Hanna, your resident real estate agent, and I am waiting for Angelo Datseris, President and CEO of Leverage Lending Group, to hop on. And we are trying a different time. We both had babies since our last Tuesday talks, so we are adjusting to a new way of life, but we'll see if people like this format. Please let us know. Let us know if you don't like it. Let us know when you can tune in. Here's Angelo. Is he coming? Wait, did I accept it? What's happening? Angelo. It's been a minute, obviously, since we've done this. There you are.
We got it. We got it. All right. I know, right?
Riding a bike.
Literally with the Peloton behind me. All right. Well, I missed this. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, I know the lighting's not that great in here, but you know, we'll be all right. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Right.
What's going
on? We have I've missed doing this. I know I've had people reach out to me and ask if we're going to be doing this again. And I always just like myself. I thought it was such a good way for us just to just talk about things like I wouldn't normally going on in the mortgage industry, and you guys us. I'm excited to get back to
I know we've definitely had two big life changes here when it comes to you know, our personal lives. We've both had babies, both had little baby boys. Yeah. So
yes, we
it's definitely a learning curve when it comes to trying to figure all that out. So but I think you're doing fantastic, and I'm a couple months behind you here, but a month or two behind you, but but we're figuring it out here too. So
yeah, it's definitely cool, good experience. But I mean, so since we've been doing this, a lot's happened. You know, the market, the interest rates, you could speak to that. They've kind of been fluctuating, and kind of what's going to happen in 2023. I've read some things, but I just think it's been like this time last year, who would have thought?
Like legit, this time last year was like 2.99, 3.125, you know, and things were just plugging away, you know. Yeah, completely opposite from last year at this time. Rates, you know, they spiked. They started going up the first couple months of this year, and you know, it's been kind of a whirlwind trying to figure all this out. You know, with everything, it's shifted pretty quickly from, you know, seller's market to to a buyer's market. So I don't think really anybody saw that coming. We did see it coming, but we just didn't see it coming in at the rate of which it kind of it gets snuck up on us, snuck up on a quick way, right? It was supposed to be a little bit more long and drawn out, but it was like poof. Wait a minute. Your house is sitting on the market. That's crazy. Yeah.
Have you ever seen like an increase like we experienced in rates as quickly?
Never. In the 20 years I've been doing it, I've never seen rates go up. I mean, it was unprecedented in the first, January 1st, and I think it was like April. In those first 3 months of this year, they went up 120 basis points in that time frame, and it was unprecedented. It's never happened in history that they've gone up so quickly in that short amount of time. So, or so much in that short amount of time. So, you know, and it's it's really changed the market in many ways, you know, from, you know, a buyer's market slash seller's market, but it also, you know, there were so many people more in just the mortgage market. And, you know, and we can kind of speak to this a little bit too, when it comes to how many people in the mortgage industry, how many people in the real estate, they basically got licensed by the droves, and they're falling out by the droves now too, which honestly, I don't hate it, because it's, you know, I've been through this before. I saw this coming. You know, it's just going to weed out the people that aren't going to be in this for the long haul. We're just in it for just the money, you know, and so it's gonna lead to better times in the future, 100%.
And like just better quality agents and brokers that, like, at the end of the day, it's about serving consumers the best. And I mean, I know you've seen it. In the last 12 months, the people that ran across that, I can't believe that they're advising clients.
Yeah.
It makes me, you know, it's scary. And I think that everyone kind of got lax too, because it was just like, oh, we already knew that buyers weren't going to be able to make any changes, right? They weren't going to be able to ask for anything, and sellers were going to get top dollar, and they were going to get whatever they wanted. So like, there's no work needed to be done on either side. And now we have to, you know, you have to have strategy
100%.
involved, and you have to read things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, time for those people who don't understand that that's part of the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the same thing with the mortgage side of it. You know, so many refi shops have popped up, and there's refi shops that have gone out of business. I saw it happen, and I knew it was going to happen. It's happened. I've actually, you know, my newest loan officer, she's bilingual. Elsie, she's fantastic. I actually plucked her up from a refi shop. She started to do purchases, and I saw what she was kind of going after realtors and stuff, and I was like, I need to know that girl. So, kind of brought her on, and you know, she's been started for like the last week or so, and you know, I talked to her about these shops that she's like, we never knew that we had to, you know, go after, like, create relationships with realtors, and it was just all incoming inbound calls, leads, you know. And that company, I'm not going to say the name of it, that company is, you know, it's only a very short matter of time, but it's gonna be done. So, but hey, you know, that's I'll be here to pick up the pieces like I was last time. So, so right.
America's here, and you know, and you've been here, and
yeah, no, you've been here a minute too. Been here a minute too. So, you know, and of course it shifted. You know, builders have had a stronghold of the market lately too, because there's no, you know, when it was at the peak, you know, in the middle of this year, whatever, there was no properties that were staying on. There's no inventory, right? So builders were, you know, whatever builders wanted, they got, you know. You know, and it's probably still a little bit like that, but they're giving up concessions and stuff too, you know. And I know, you know, if we want to talk about, if we want to kind of get into, we can talk about rates and stuff too, but, you know, if we want to talk about the, you know, builders and kind of how they strong arm people when it comes to, you know, people buying a house and building a house.
Yeah. So, you know, personally, I'm set to close April next week, hopefully, and sign a contract over. And I'll be honest, we are going to be ready in September. We were thinking more like November. I mean, never did we think it was going to be this. And in that time, like we about,
Yeah.
double. I mean, and you know, they can't give, you know, builders are usually, in my experience in the past, working with builders in the Charlotte metro area, you can normally nail them with your like 30 days out. My experience personally has not been that. It's made it difficult to get a loan right at the rate you need, like, to schedule movers. Thank then I'm not selling my house right now, because if I was, that would make that a challenge, because obviously I need to know when I'm closing in order to
Correct.
put my house on the market and get a buyer as well. Um, and in the past, it didn't, like you were saying, offers like you were buyer. It was not really how they have been written, very seller, um, seller market ad, is that it doesn't matter. Like the that property, not
Right.
just the sale of a house. So there's been that's not been the case. But as our rates have doubled, it's costing more to borrow this amount of money, and so people now need to sell their houses in order to buy, which honestly is
Right.
reasonable. Um, and I'm not sure if it's builders. This builder isn't used to communicate with them, or maybe they got a little lax in communicating in general because they were experiencing a booming market and didn't have to
Right.
deliver that level of service.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You probably hit the nail on the head. I mean, they just had, you know, as many, too many clients, and they're like, all right, whatever, it'll close when it closes, and it's not they're going to do anything about it. It kind of sucks when it comes to,
Yeah.
with you, like that's your house, right? You have money invested, and the builder's on the hook, and it's like the builder's like, yeah, whatever, it is what it is. We're not going to do shit for you to help you out. Yeah. Oh, it's delayed a month. Too bad. It sucks that we're honestly, the builders aren't held to the highest standards, like honestly, like as lenders are, because if we have to deliver that loan, we have to have that rate lock in place, right? If that rate lock doesn't, if rates drop over a certain amount, if I don't renegotiate, then, I could get left in the dust, by, oh, well, screw you, you can't get me a rate. There's so many double standards when it comes to that side of it, where it's like there's no accountability on the builder side of it. Whereas, we have to, on the mortgage side of it, we have to, and I'll kind of give the kind of in your situation, I saw rates going up, and we all know rates are going up, right? And it started, what's that?
Last year, especially
Correct. Yeah.
in the fourth
Oh
quarter.
yeah. God, it's been that long, right? So it's been a long time. Especially, with, so when I saw them going up, I was like, oh, I'm gonna keep an eye on it. And so I was like, all right, we need to lock this before it gets really out of control. And we locked it it was an extended lock, 90-day lock, 6.799, and they went even higher. And then they started to come back down. And we were able to, thank God, I was able to renegotiate the locked interest rate, things like that. But I mean, you could have, and thankful that you didn't. I mean, you could have given into the builders saying, oh, well, my lender can do this, or my lender can do that. Well, yeah, I mean, of course, rates have dropped, and, it's been some time, and, it's like nobody cares about like the time or effort that anybody's put into this, on that side of it, and it's,
Right.
And still to this day, I mean, you're still not getting a ton of communication. I don't know how many times that you had to go back, you had to rifle out an email with no communication. If you or I did that, Ashley, if you or I didn't respond to a borrower, a client, if we didn't respond, we would be bad mouth trashed. Like, we wouldn't have any business, never. We would not maintain our life in their business. Like, we'd be mud. We'd be shit.
No.
And it's just like, they just get away with bloody murder. And it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard because they have something they want, and there's just not a lot of options still today. And I think that it's so important that you have somebody, right? That you have a lender, you have an agent that can help you navigate what you should be, like what kind of communication you should be getting, what you can expect, how to work these timelines that are sometimes unavoidable, and you're at the mercy to other people. Because if you
Yeah,
do it wrong,
100%.
it could cost you a lot of money, and it's in a market where you have to sell your own house. And so communication and timeline
Crucial.
are
100% crucial. Now, I mean, you're dealing with some additional clients that are kind of going through the same process that you're going through. It's so you're the agent on your transaction, right? So you're basically you're in it. And so being the agent with, I couldn't imagine being the client and then coming to you, because I would look at you like, Ashley, what the hell? Like, I need an answer.
right.
Why aren't you giving me an answer? And it's not on you, but ultimately, if yes, you are the agent, right? So you're kind of handling it, and you're going to bat for yourself, right? Which you do the same for your clients. It's hard for you to do your job when somebody's not doing theirs. And it's disheartening to see
Right.
that there's that kind of lack of accountability in the market with builders when it comes to that. It just sucks.
I mean, it really does. And what I can say is that, like, hopefully, as this market turns, so does
Right.
the builder's professional. And, and, all we can do is keep pressing. I'm going to keep pressing, holding them accountable, going
Right.
up the chain, whatever it takes to help my clients so that we can all move forward
Right.
and ultimately get into a home. You're building a home, they want the home, they're trying to buy the home.
Right.
Help you.
You would think I mean, it's difficult to degree, you have supply chain issues, James talking about, like he understands the whole supply chain stuff, right? But there's also like, hey, like somebody needs to be communicating with you about this. It's not, all you have to do is reply to an email or pick up the phone and make a phone call. Just some level of accountability communication. So you're not at wit's end, for God's sakes. I mean, you have a baby, you have a new baby, you're going to be moving. I mean, do they not understand that it's like, there's more to it than just building a house?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's more to it than that.
It's our home. I mean, we didn't even set up our nursery because we were like, we're just going to sit in the house. So babies in our guest room. And, I'm just like, you put a lot of things on hold because we were told it was going to happen at a certain time, and it got delayed. And at the end of the day, and I feel this way about every transaction, no problem is insurmountable in most cases when it's communicated timely and often, right? Like 9 times out of 10, if something is communicated from the other side, whether it's delayed, whether it be just anything, things happen, but just figure out.
Figure audible. You're right. You can figure it out. You just have to. Everybody has to be on the same team, right? To put that, to come up with that resolution. Yeah. So.
So you did a video of rate lock today, and I think that goes really good with what we're kind of talking about. So if you kind of want to like maybe touch on that just a second, because I think that's really important for these folks that are doing new construction, or even if like they're buying out and they have a long lease back, like the seller.
So I did a video today on like lock. Hey, should I lock my interest rate? Should I float my interest rate? Right. Ultimately, really what it boils down to, we always want to get on. We always want to, and I kind of mentioned this in the video too. We always want to time the market, right? And you always have people that think that they have, that an insight, or it's on a Tuesday, So Tuesday, rates are better on Tuesday, But really, what it boils down to is, you do have to watch the markets, and you have to kind of know which way they're trending. But really, what it boils down to is, if you like your interest rate, if you're happy with your payment. Right. If you're happy with your payment, it's really all about the payment. If if you came to me and said, hey, Angelo, I want this house, it's $500,000. What can you do for me? What's my payment? If I told you the payment was, let's just say $3,000, and it was like, oh my God, really $3,000? Okay, perfect. Let's do it. What's my rate? 6.5%. Oh man, 6.5%. What's that matter? Like legit. When you really look at it, what's that? What does that matter? Of course, we all want the best rate, right? It sucks that we all can't have a 3% rate. Let's be honest. That's not the way that this industry works, and not the way the market works when it comes to that. On secondary markets, it's just not the way it works. So each day is different. If you have an extended lock, or if you have a build like yourselves, we can lock your interest rate if there's something. We know that for sure 100% rates were going up, and they were going up, and they're going up quick. And so we made a because I watched the markets, and I was like, all right, we need to lock right now, to safeguard us for any more movement. And so we locked, and it was a great idea that we did lock. And then they took a turn about a month later or so, a month and a half later, they took a turn, and they started coming back down a little bit. And so we were able to do what's called a renegotiation. So if they go down over a certain percentage, then we can renegotiate that rate lock and get you a lower rate. Okay. So there's safeguards in play for that. So when you have such a long build time, because the interest rates were trending upward quick, we made a decision, right? And let's say that I wasn't watching for you, and then we were closing about a month afterwards, and if I didn't call you to say, hey, you know what, we really need to lock right now, and the rate was 7.25 instead of 6.799, 7.25, I would have been the bad guy, right? Like, well, you should have been watching it, right? Everybody always wants the downside. Nobody wants the upside. So it's hard to, we have to make our best educated decisions on what we need to do. And I said, look, if they come back down, we'll renegotiate. And we did. And they've gone back up since then. So, 6.1, whatever you have now, it's not, it's not, it's like 6.3 or 6.4, something like that right now. So, it's huge fluctuations right now. So, not everybody's in the situation.
Angela, right? Like we were talking about, like, it's not like these huge swings like
it's
this
not
up
normal.
and down,
No.
like that's not normal, right? So you're using your best. Like, I feel like you're
100%
what you would do perfectly.
100%.
Like, that's how.
You're not only a client, you're a friend. I look at all of my clients. They're like family, I work with you on a daily basis. I have more interaction with you than, a majority of my clients, because it's, 30 to 45 days I'm working with my clients, and then it's after just, follow-ups. But I'm always working with you and stuff like that. So, what's that?
Are with all
that, right. That's how I am.
You are with all your clients. I send my clients to you. Other people send their clients to you, because you're going to advise like you would
Correct.
advise.
And with you as well, like you go to bat. You're gangster when it comes to, if things need to happen, Ashley's definitely the one that's going to make it happen, for sure. It's same thing. I know it's not just me, because I know you were you to help me with our transactions, and I see that when you work with other clients that we work with together, you do the same thing with them, so it's not just a one-off. Yeah. We're all in it, it's just, we're here for a reason. We're not just here we're not transactional. We're relationship driven 100%. And that shows with that. So, kind of going back to that, it's like, we do the best that we can when it comes to the interest rates. Sometimes they're, if it's locked, and that's kind of where we do have a one-up on other lenders, because I have multiple lenders. So if I couldn't get a renegotiation down and get the rate down, I could have just taken your loan, because I set it up with someone else. You remember, I was like, I'm just going to, just on the safe, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing teed up with another lender, get it ready to go. Because if we can't get a renegotiation, we're gonna jump ship and go to a different lender. And a lot of lenders can't do that because they're not a broker. So we were poised and ready to go because we had the time to do so. But everything worked out. We kept it there, and now we're clear to close, and and all that. But this is trying times for you as an agent, working with builder, us as mortgage companies trying to figure out this market. We have the CPI report coming out today, the inflation report, Thursday. It's coming out Thursday. And that inflation report, if that comes in either way, up or down, other than forecast, it could be really good news for bonds or it could be really bad news for bonds. So, I would cautiously float until Wednesday evening and then make a decision on Wednesday evening. If you're closing within 30 days, try to get as much information on some reports of what's forecast, because you never know. Even if what's forecast, it could go the opposite direction. Yeah. And you could be the recent swings with the inflation report numbers that have come out in the last 2 months have been 0.25% difference in rates that day. From one day to another, 0.25%, maybe even more than 0.25%. So the swings are enormous when you're talking about a $500,000-$600,000 loan amount. That's a big number. So, if we lock your loan, and I've had this happen, it sucks, but it happens. If I lock your loan, let's say I lock your loan before that CPI report, and everything is like, oh, it's going to come in bad, it's going to come in hot, and rates are going to go up, and it comes in the opposite. I lock your loan, rates go down, a quarter, maybe 0.5% that day, the next 2 days. That client's gonna be like, oh, well, I'm gonna go with this other lender because I can get a well, of course you can get a better rate now, because what I'm saying. So it's like, it just, we're honestly, we're a dime a dozen. There's so many mortgage companies that are out there, and real estate agents, and all we gotta do is, just do whatever we can, the best thing we can do for our clients, and hopefully that just kind of pays off dividends in the long run here. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
For sure. Well, I think I'm excited to get back to doing this. I think that if anyone watches later or has any feedback as far as time goes, please let us know. Put a comment down. Do y'all like noon? Do y'all like in the evening around 7:30? Let us know. We want to try to adjust to what and as we're getting back into doing the things, and then also topics, there's some topics.
Somebody did respond. They said late night, and it looks like Keanu Trujillo. He was actually, I did one with him yesterday, so he was. I think he's someone's still on right now. Maybe everybody's tuned out, but somebody said earlier on my story. They said at 7:30. So we'll keep on posting it. It's not a bad time, Ashley, to be honest with you, because it's kind of chill. The babies are down. It's chill. The babies. And when dry January gets over with, we can sip on some wines. Yeah. So, but no, this was great. I'm glad we're back at it. It's long overdue, but it was a good pause, and a pause for good reasons for both you and I. So. Glad to get back at it with you. Yeah.
Yep. Likewise. Well, as always, please tell us what you think. Drop your comments, whatever you want to. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and be here live on Tuesdays, maybe noon, maybe 7. Just stay tuned to our stories to find out what time we will.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining, and thank you, Ash. We'll get back to it. See you next Tuesday.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.